Welcome back to another episode on the More Than Social podcast. If you clicked on this episode, you are about to take your business to the next level. And here's why. Over the years, working with entrepreneurs on growing a successful business, I've started noticing this pattern, okay? So at the beginning of a business, most try to balance wearing all the hats, doing all the do, plus they are scrambling, trying to put themselves out there, learning all the business skills, and trying to grow their business. I find that at this stage, people are just really throwing darts with their eyes closed and just jumping from one thing to another, just trying to see what sticks, right? I feel more and more fortunate every single day because when I got started in my business, my mentor taught me how to lead with the foundation. So that even when in the beginning, I felt like I was throwing spaghetti at the wall, at least I was building something with a purpose at the exact same time. Now, I am talking all about email lists. Would you believe me if I told you I focused on growing my email list before I ever thought about what do I post on social media? Yes, 8 years ago, social media, it wasn't as important as it is today. But what is still as important as it was when I got started 8 years ago is that email list. So if you've heard people tell you to build an email list for your business, or maybe if you've been slowly building one and you're sending out monthly newsletters, I am so excited for you to dive into this episode with me. I just want to take you back all the way to the basics and just make sure that you have the right knowledge and the skills to grow an email list. So let's pretend that we are all starting from scratch, okay? That's what we're going to do today. Before we dive into it, I really wanted to remind you that as a business owner, from one entrepreneur to another, honestly, it is so normal to feel overwhelmed sometimes. I know it's not the best, but it's normal, okay? We always want to do and achieve so much, and most of the time, our ideas and our goals, they come at us quicker than we physically have time to implement things. Now, one of my clients, he actually asked me, how do I do it all? I run my marketing agency. I have my Spotlight Theory program. And last year, I launched my Rise one-on-one coaching program. All of that, honestly, it's a lot to some people. And honestly, some days, I completely understand why people say that's a lot. But really, if you think about it, all of these things, they just flow together. My Spotlight Theory program is for those entrepreneurs who want to learn how to market their business online and start to generate leads for their business. Whereas the Rise coaching program takes it one step further. It's for those who want that one-on-one coaching, the accountability to really maximize their results online. And then my agency is for those who want my team and me to run all their marketing efforts for them. They want to be more hands-off, right? But really, all three of them really allow me to hit my goals that I have within my business. But at the end of the day, this is why we do what we do. So my advice for you today is to set your goals, schedule a plan to achieve them, and then just stay in your lane. Write down all your new ideas that come up, because yes, they're going to come up, but continuously focus on achieving those goals and have that foundational aspect set up in your business. That is going to go a long way. At that point, what's going to happen is you can just start to run with the ideas that come at you once you have that foundational aspects. So one of the foundational aspects is that email list that I was talking about, which honestly is not hard to build as people make it seem, especially if you have the right strategies, you have the right tactics in place for your business. So again, I want to go at this from scratch. So let's first take a look at why email lists are so important for the growth of your business. And then I'm going to dive into some tips and tricks to really grow your email list from zero all the way to hero. Yes, I just said 0 to hero. Honestly, it's so funny because I would never actually say that in person. It's really funny what you come up with when you're doing a podcast episode, just throwing it out there. I would never say 0 to hero, but here I am. That's why I'm saying it. Anyways, there are so many benefits to having a healthy, engaged email list of your dream clients. So for starters, it helps increase your brand awareness by putting your message in front of your potential clients in their eyes really on a regular basis. And it helps you build that relationship with prospects by allowing you to craft personalized messages that are tailored specifically to their needs and interests. Now, on top of that, email lists are so great for driving sales because they help create a sense of urgency around that offer or the promotion that you had that is going to lead to increased conversions. And another really kind of fun out of the box one for you is that having an email list gives you access to honestly so much valuable information and data that can be used to improve your customer service and optimize your marketing altogether. So you can honestly learn so much about your prospects and your clients simply by having an email list. And then you can use that to your advantage to really grow your business. So for example, let's just say you just met me, okay? And you were just getting started to knowing me. You get to know my interests, my hobbies, even things that I complain about. And you got to know me. And as you're getting to know me, you're starting to give me advice. And you're starting to have this specific conversation with me to help solve some of my problems or even just talk about my hobbies and interests, okay? Just stay with me for a minute. So we just met. You're getting to know me. Because you know me and because you're having that specific conversation with me, what's happening is we're building trust. We're building a relationship together. And because we have that relationship, that is what's going to push me to want to work with you or support your business in some way, shape, or form. That's exactly what you can do with an email list. You can have that relationship. You can get to know your audience deeper. You can build that deeper relationship. And at the end of the day, the goal is obviously to boost your business and really just make a bigger impact in your business. That is something that is honestly so key with email marketing. Now, there are so many people out there who are growing an email list, and I'm so proud to see that, especially nowadays. But what I'm seeing more and more of is that people aren't doing it in the right way. I'm seeing that people are stuck using strategies really that worked like 8 years ago. Things have changed. I'm not the only one to tell you that. Things have changed. Our behavior changed. People actually behave differently now with emails, with social media, than they did years ago. Think about how are you utilizing the online world and engaging with businesses that you support and love? Are you on their email list? If so, how did you join it? Seriously, just take a minute. Think about that. The likelihood that you're joining an email list just because people say, join my email list, become a subscriber for updates, it's honestly so slim. People do not want their inboxes full of junk and sales. Gone are the days when people just signed up for every single email list that was put in front of them. Instead, what you want to do is you want to focus on providing value up front, getting them on your email list because you are helping them achieve a win. And then going back to it, that's when you want to build that relationship. Now, there are so many different ways that you can grow your email list, and if you are doing it through that value-based content, so I talk a lot about lead magnets on here. When you have that lead magnet, you can easily grow your subscribers. So I did put together a guide on how to set up your email marketing for some of my students, and I want to give that to you today. If you're interested in truly learning how to grow an email list, without ever having to say, become a subscriber or join my monthly newsletter. I don't want you doing that anymore. So I put together that, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that in the show notes for you. That way you can download that for free. Now, regardless of what direction on how you're going to really just lure people into your email list, there are so many different strategies that you can follow to grow it. So I always like to think of an email list as this bucket of people that you can build that relationship with, and then eventually you're going to work with. So there really are 4 strategies that I want to walk you through today to help you grow that email list for yourself, okay? Now, the very first one is actually going to utilize your website. So do you have a website? If so, with your website, people are likely to land on it because they're already interested in what you are offering to them. So maybe you're spending money with paid ads, maybe you're driving traffic to your website, let's say with Google ads or Facebook ads, or maybe you're relying on organic marketing and referrals to send that traffic to your website. Regardless of how people are actually getting on your site, they're viewing it because they're interested in your offer, right? So think of this as like someone walking into a physical store location. That's basically what a website view is in today's world. You grab their attention enough to get them to check you out. Now, once you have people landing on your website, the goal is to take them from that website viewer and turn them into an email list or a subscriber or a lead for your business. So to do this, you'll want to have an opt-in form on your website. This is one of, honestly, the most effective ways to really just start building your email list from scratch because it allows those visitors who, again, they're already interested in what you're offering to sign up really quickly without ever having to leave your site. Now, I'm not talking about using a contact form page or having that pop up saying join my newsletter. Instead, what I'm talking about is have that freebie, so that lead magnet that they can download in exchange for their contact information. So that's one method. Utilize that website that you have. Another one is social media. So social media is going to have that same goal. For all of your followers on social media or anyone who lands on your social media account, your goal should be to move them from social media into your email list, into that bucket. Actually, another reason you want to grow your email list, which I should have mentioned earlier and initially when I was going through that piece, but another really big key is that you actually own your email list. You control the content that goes out, and no one can ever take that away from you. Whereas with social media, it could disappear in a moment. And if you spent your entire time building your followers versus building an email list, you could lose it and you're going to have to start from scratch completely. I don't want that for you, but it happens. So really, there are two main ways that you can turn your social media followers into email subscribers. The first way would be to drive the traffic to your website, get them to fill out that opt-in form to access that freebie like we just talked about. Or an even more effective way would be to utilize funnels. So you use your social media to just grab someone's attention. And then you send them to something called an opt-in page. So an opt-in page, if you haven't heard of that before, it's essentially a mock website that will collect people's contact information using the exact opt-in form that you had on your website. The only difference is that they can only do one thing. So if you haven't listened to the episode that I did on why you don't necessarily need a website, I want you to go back and listen to that episode, okay? So it's episode 75. It's called How to Generate Sales Without a Website. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm breaking down that a website is very distracting, and you are actually decreasing the chances of turning someone from a website view into a lead. But regardless, social media is a fantastic way to dive deep and get people to turn into email contacts. So do your best on social media. Honestly, just do your best to continuously talk about that freebie, that lead magnet, or drive people to your website or your funnel to get them off of social media into that bucket of people for your email list. Another great one is a podcast like I'm doing here, or a video series on YouTube. So just like with social media, you should be continuously talking about that freebie, that lead magnet, and encouraging people to go to the funnel. So they will join your email list as soon as they actually request access to that freebie. Now, one thing I love about podcasting compared to social media, just to go down this rant for a sec, it's that honestly, it allows me to build a relationship with my audience on a deeper level. It allows people to hear me. And if they watch it on YouTube, you get to see me. You can see me talking with my hands a lot. You get to know me a little bit and even learn my teaching style. It also really allows me to show up a little bit differently on social media because I'm talking about my podcast. But it also allows me to give back on a deeper level because we're having this longer form communication style here versus just social media quick tips. So with podcasting or that video series, you can reach your audience differently than on social media. That's my whole point. But you can also build a relationship enough that they want to join your email list. So just continuously talk about it. And lastly, one of the easiest way to grow your email list and to grow it really, really quickly is through paid ads. So I mentioned paid advertising on some of these strategies that you can use, but I want you to realize that you can 100% focus on paid advertising and grow an effective email list. So like I said, when I started my business 8 years ago, that is exactly what I did. I did not focus on what I was posting on social media. I just kind of posted at that point. I focused instead on growing my email list, and I did that 100% through paid advertising. Now, my personal favorite method is Facebook and Instagram advertising, but honestly, there's other platforms out there that you can run ads on. So whether that's YouTube or TikTok or LinkedIn, you can even do Google ads. But essentially what you're doing is with that opt-in page, you're putting your content in front of that dream client of yours. So that freebie in front of the dream client or prospect, you're encouraging them to click the link to go and opt in to get on your email list. It's easy, it's quick. So those 4 strategies to grow your email list, you honestly can go as slow or as quickly as you want. But my biggest tip is to ensure that you always organize everything. So if you know me, if you worked with me in the past, you know I seriously am the organization queen. Everything is beyond organized in my life. If it's my house, if it's planning my wedding, or if it's running my business, everything's organized. And the reason why I do that really is to increase my productivity. But from an email marketing side of things, it is so that I can be sure that I can communicate and build a relationship with people and have that consistent conversation. So my last tip for you before we call it a day today is to actually make sure you're segmenting your email list into specific categories based on things like age group or interest, so that you can personalize the message, you can tailor it towards each group rather than just saying a generic message that doesn't resonate with everyone. You can get super specific. So for example, for all the personal trainers out there, I'm going to use you as an example. You can segment your list into people who are interested in weight loss versus people who are interested in weight gain. What you can then do is send out specific tips and messages for those categories. They're going to be different conversations. But doing this will not only help you build that relationship on a deeper level and connect with that person on a deeper level, but it's also going to boost your engagement online. And what happens when you're boosting that engagement, your results from email marketing side of things, that's when it's going to skyrocket. That is when you literally can scale to the fullest because you have warm audiences. And even if you're still getting ready to scale at this point, having this foundational aspect set up and growing an email list for your business, honestly, is one of the best things you can do for your business and set yourself up for success. Now, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on social media, send me an email back. If you're on my email list, you can find me on social media at Lisa Ann Coaching. But also don't forget, I want you to download that email marketing guide that I put together. I will link that in the show notes so you can download that for free. Honestly, it just kind of walks you through as many different strategies and tips to help you scale your business through email marketing. I broke everything down for you, so I really do hope it helps. Any feedback, I'm always here. Any questions, I'm always here. But regardless, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.